Friends, the room that we are gathered in was built in 1913. It was built at a time when there were still some horse-drawn carriages outside. Since that time, this building has seen world wars, the Great Depression, the rise of America as a superpower, and civil strife on all levels. This building has witnessed the best and the worst of an evolving nation. In 1941, those windows in the rear of the room did not contain George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and the New York Harbor featuring the Statue of Liberty. Rather, it was a biblical scene. I'm sorry to say that those windows were shattered by anti-Semitic vandals. The rabbi and the congregation decided to replace those windows with windows that represented the best of America, to challenge this country to be all that it can be. The idea for those windows was to put this country on notice that we as a community were ready to work to help this country live up to its ideals for every man, woman, and child. I want to suggest to you that this gathering today serves the very same function as those windows. We challenge America to be America for every man, woman, and child, not just for a privileged few. And we challenge America to be America by taking full advantage of our participatory democracy and making our desires and our needs known to those who we elect so that we can ensure that they will represent us well. Friends, when the Jewish people stood at Mount Sinai, they heard the sound of the shofar for the first time. The shofar is a calling instrument. It called a people to fulfill an inclusive vision for all human beings. It is in the spirit of the American vision of equality, the American spirit of opportunity, the American spirit of true justice for all, that I begin this convention by sounding the shofar. I hope.
Thank you, Rabbi Siegel. Thank you, Anshe Ahmed, for your gracious hospitality all these many weeks. I'm Pastor Monty Johnson, pastor of Emmanuel Lutheran in Edgewater and president of ONE Northside. I'm delighted to be here with all our friends. This is the time, we're first time together, our elected leaders, the press, public servants. We just thanked our drummers. We're going to see them again. Just 10 months ago, two organizations with over 60 collective years of experience building power in Chicago merged. And now there's over 103 member institutions that span from North Avenue on the south to beyond Howard Street up on the north, over to the lakefront and to Western Avenue. And they've come together to form ONE Northside, organizing neighborhoods for equality. Yeah. We joined together to build power and to demand justice, to confront the growing power of injustice today. We are nonprofit institutions. We are resident organizations. We are churches and synagogues and temples. We are cultural associations and schools and business associations. We are ONE Northside, people who live together, we work together, we play together, and we pray together. We are here today more than 1,000 strong. And with the aid of modern technology. With technology, we can magnify our voices far beyond this room. And so I invite you to take out your phones and like us on Facebook today, or on Twitter, use the hashtag #PowerJustice. And then when you're finished, silence your phones and put them away. Look around, though. Look around. This is what ONE Northside looks like. This is what the power of organized people looks like. We, the people, value mixed income, multi-ethnic, intergenerational communities that we know and love. We value developing new leaders to engage in the democratic process. We envision a diverse, united North Side of Chicago, acting powerfully for our shared values, racial, social, and economic justice in communities where everyone has an opportunity to thrive. You know, in America, they say money talks. But up against the power of organized people, big money walks. We are ONE Northside. We are building power, demanding justice. Just in the last 10 months, we have 9 victories, and you'll be hearing about those this afternoon. There's so much for us to do, though. It was 104 years ago that President Teddy Roosevelt had said the absence of effective government, especially national restraint upon unfair money-getting, created a class of enormously wealthy and economically powerful men whose chief object was to hold on to that power and that money. We face the same threat today. Our forefathers and mothers did not struggle and sacrifice so that government of the people and by the people and for the people would become government of the money, or by the money, for the money. That's why we're building power. That's why we're demanding justice. That's why we're ONE Northside. And so let's do the roll call. Let's do the roll call, see who's here today.
Hello, my name is Betsy Carlson, and I'm from the Lincoln Park Community Shelter. We are building power with ONE Northside. If you are also here representing one of 42 nonprofit members of ONE Northside, which are listed on the screens behind me, stand up if you are able and make some noise.
My name is Tuyet Ngo, and I'm with Chinese Mutual Aid Association. We are just one of 21 cultural associations, businesses, and schools that are building power with ONE Northside. If you are here representing a cultural association, a school, or a business, please stand and make some noise!
My name is Curtis Smith, and I'm from Second Unitarian Church, and we are proud to be one of 40 congregations that is building power and demanding justice with ONE Northside. So if you're here representing a congregation today, stand up and make some noise. So today, we're going to give some special recognition to 5 institutions that have joined ONE Northside since our inception, July 1st.
Hello, people. Excuse me for the hat. I'm having a bad hair day. My name is Roy Johnson. I am with Sullivan High School. Sullivan is a high school that believes education doesn't end in the classroom. We are proud to say that we are building power and demanding justice as one new member of ONE Northside. Let's give Sullivan a round of applause.
Hi, I'm Abby Katie Weber, and I'm a leader with Mishkan Chicago. Mishkan is a young, progressive, independent spiritual community that aims to reclaim Judaism's inspiration and transformative essence. We are proud to be new members of One Northside. Is Mishkan in the house?
Secondly, Sullivan would like to be introducing A Safe Haven as an organization that would like to transition people from homelessness to self-sufficiency with pride and purpose. A Safe Haven provides the tools for each to overcome the root causes of homelessness. We would like to introduce A Safe Haven as new members of One Northside.
We'd also like to welcome Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Our Lady of Mount Carmel is a Catholic church in Lakeview. The church is guided by the belief that we can better understand the interdependence that connects us to the local and larger communities through education, fellowship, and participation in service programs. Let's welcome Our Lady of Mount Carmel as a new member.
Lastly, Sullivan would like to be introducing Streetwise magazine for their seeks to support individuals in their goals of attaining stability and to advocate for poverty alleviation in the community. We welcome Streetwise magazine as new members.
We are building power and demanding justice with allies across the state and the city and the country. And so we want to thank some of our other allies that are in the room today, like Access Living, Albany Park Neighborhood Council, Avodah, Chicago Child Care Collective, the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless, Chicago Housing Initiative, Chicago Teachers Union, Common Cause Illinois, Fight for 15 campaign, the Grassroots Collaborative, Indiana-Illinois Regional Organizing Network, Jewish Council on Urban Affairs, Jewish Solidarity and Action for Schools, Jewish United Fund and Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Chicago, the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization, Logan Square Neighborhood Association, National People's Action, Northside Action for Justice, the Service Employees International Union, and Southsiders Organized for Unity and Liberation. We also want to welcome some of the officials that are here today, like Dr. Nikon Jones Tapion, who's from the Cook County Sheriff Dart's office. Also, Taina Rodriguez from the Congresswoman Schakowsky's office. The Chicago Police Department Commanders Duffin and Vulgaris. Kathy Smith from the State Senator Staines' office, Matt Muir from Representative Cassidy's office, Brian Hammer, Director of Illinois Department of Revenue, and Michael Gelder, Senior Health Advisor to the Governor. All right. We are about to get started, okay? And we have some ground rules before we get rolling. You know, hundreds of hours of conversation and negotiations preceded this convention, including with all of the guests that you will see here today. That's why we ask our guests for yes or no answers to our questions. Our time is limited. We promise to start on time and end on time. We've got a timekeeper in the front row right here. Okay, she's going to help us out. This is our meeting, and we'll be highlighting our stories, your stories. We'll be talking about important and emotional issues sometimes this afternoon. And so, at the same time that I want to ask you to respect our speakers, if you hear something that you like, I encourage you to cheer, all right? And if you hear something that you don't like, we're going to express ourselves for that too, but we're not going to boo, all right? Instead, we're going to say, That ain't right. That ain't right. All right, I think you're ready. We're building power. We're demanding justice. And that starts with registering to vote. And so we're going to get started today by welcoming our Get Out the Vote team. Welcome up, please.
My name is Carlos Navarro. I'm elated to be a ONE Northside leader. I am first-generation Mexican-American. I'm also proud of my Marine Corps enlistment, 1970 to 1974. I will be speaking about our Get Out the Vote efforts. We believe that we need to have power at the polls. We have a mantra. I ask, who's got the power? You say we got the power. Let's try that again. Who's got the power? Oh, I love that. Here we go. ONE Northside Get Out the Vote work is nonpartisan. We believe everyone should have the opportunity to vote, and we value people over profits. This value led us to the work on non-binding referendum in support of $15 minimum wage for employees of big corporations. Through this cold winter, our team collected the signatures we needed, and we got more than 70% approval for this referendum in our precincts in the 46th ward. Today, what would that $15 an hour mean to you, sir?
Thank you, Carlos. You know, since I was 7 years old, I've always had the same ambition, to be an unparalleled businessman, to stand where many dare to dream. In the fall of last year, all that changed when I got a job at McDonald's. There I learned about the way things are at the bottom of the corporate pyramid. Did you know the average McDonald's worker makes close to the minimum wage, while the CEO makes more than $14 million a year? That's more than 1,000 times what his employees make. Not only is this ridiculous, but that is extremely unfair. As a student, I don't have as much financial responsibility as my coworkers, but I would like to save money to go to college. I'm a full-time high school student, working 4 to 5 days a week. Last year, I joined the 5 for 15 campaign because I want to be able to financially help my family, go to college, and accomplish my dreams. For that, I need 15. 15 means to me only one thing. It means the future to me.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. We know you work hard for the money. Hey, folks, we did this with 30 volunteers. Imagine 100. Who's got the power? We got the power. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Just lost my page.
Yeah.
That's right! All right. So I must have misplaced my page, but I will say this. We need you. We need you to come and help us. Please register to vote. Please register to help us, sign up, join us. And I want to leave you with one thought. Who's got the power?
We got the power. All right. Thank you, Get Out the Vote team. Now I'd like you to welcome our mental health justice team. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Kevin Walker, and I'm a client of Trilogy. I'm also here today to represent the mental health justice team at ONE Northside. A few years back, I was manic and hadn't been sleeping. manic whim, I decided to fly down to San Antonio. I didn't bring much money, so after a few days I became homeless and was wandering around without food. I did that for about 10 days. One night I was chatting with the desk clerk at the Holiday Inn, and the night guard told me I couldn't speak with him. The police were called. Luckily, when the police officers arrived, they were very understanding and took me to get treatment. It was hard to get into the hospital, but the police went to bat for me. I'm grateful for those officers' help and kindness. In 10 days, I was stable enough to go back to Chicago. This is why crisis intervention training for police officers is so important to me. As my brother says, when I'm well, I'm fine. Well, when I'm not well, I'm a pain in the neck. For me, I ended up with understanding police officers by chance, but we should not have to rely on chance. I know my recovery has much to do with my support groups, my community mental health services, support from my wife, and with the help of God. But with the constant threats to cuts to services, I worry about where I might end up. We need more revenue in the state to support these services, but we also need supports in the community for the inevitable crises that will occur. Now let me introduce my colleague Derek, and he will tell you more about CIT training and why it's important.
Hi, my name is Derek Turner. I go to the community counseling centers of Chicago. The mental health justice team fights for the rights of people living with mental illness. We believe that recovery is possible and that people living with mental illness should live in the least restrictive settings. People living with mental illness are no more dangerous or violent than anyone else. In fact, they are more likely to be victims of crimes rather than perpetrators of it. The stigma given to people living with mental illness is very negative. We want to build power and demand justice to end the stigma. One way that this can happen is by increasing the number of crisis intervention training, or CIT trained police officers. CIT is a 40-hour training program for police officers to recognize the signs and symptoms of mental illness and ways to reduce the crisis to the person can get out of help they need rather than getting locked up. Did you know that the Cook County Jail is the largest provider of mental health services in the country?
That ain't right. That ain't right.
Since police officers are first responders, we want to increase the numbers of CIT trained officers this year throughout the city to lessen the number of people living with mental illness in prison and give people the treatment they need. Now I would like to introduce to you Pastor Fred.
Thank you, Derek. Hello, my name is the Reverend Fred Kinsey, and I'm the pastor at Unity Lutheran Church in Edgewater. Between 2009 and 2012, there have been $187 million in cuts to mental health services in Illinois. Increasingly, individuals living with mental illness are now ending up in crisis. Studies show that crisis intervention training can reduce injuries to people living with mental illness and police officers, and it reduces arrests and increases voluntary transports to the hospital. We've learned that there's a wait list of officers who want to be trained in CIT. The Chicago Police Department should double their number to 800 officers trained in the next year. Now, Aldermen Smith and Tunney, Pawar, and Fioretti have signed on to a letter to Chief Gulliford in support of this, and Alderman Osterman brought CIT to the City Council hearing and has written a letter of support to Police Superintendent McCarthy. We want to thank those aldermen who have supported us on this important campaign. I also want to take a moment to recognize the 3 local police commanders who've shown support for CIT in their districts, Commanders Valgaris, Duffin, and Waldera. Over the past 6 months, we've met with Chief Gulliford of the Bureau of Patrol, who oversees the CIT program on several occasions. He has not agreed to increase the number of officers trained. We invited him here today, but Chief Gulliford has chosen to remain seated in the audience. Chief Gulliford, if you're willing to say yes now to increasing the training goals of the Chicago Police Department to 800 officers per year, please join us on stage. As you can see, we have a lot of support here today. But Chief Gulliford, we're disappointed and we do not take this lightly, and that ain't right. So we're going to continue to work on this with our aldermen, and we'll be following up with you in the next week. That ain't right. Finally, I want to tell everyone to be sure to fill out the Keep Me in Action form at the end of today, and you can keep up with what happens next. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mental Health Justice Team. Now we're going to welcome up our housing team to tell us about their important work.
Hello, my name is Kathy Moore. I'm a parishioner of St. Clement Parish and a member of the Children's Memorial Hospital Redevelopment Coalition. For 5 long years, we have been organizing and working hard to achieve the victory that we are here to celebrate today. We have secured 57 new units of affordable housing at the former Children's Hospital site. This is the most units ever created under Chicago's Affordable Requirements Ordinance, which many of you here today worked so hard to pass.
Hello, my name is Deirdre Graziano. I'm a long-term resident of Lincoln Park and also a proud member of the Coalition for the Redevelopment of Children's Memorial Hospital. We want to introduce the team that made this housing possible. The renowned Rabbi David Russo is our announcer. So let's be proud, let's be loud, One Northside.
Let's clap it up, everyone! And now, the starting lineup for the renowned Lincoln Park Affordable Housing Champions. At forward for these affordable housing champions, Ed Woodbury. Mr. Woodbury is the president of McCaffrey Interest, who is developing
54 affordable units, the first such units in Lincoln Park in over 35 years. And at center from Chicago, an alderman of the 43rd Ward, Michelle Smith. Alderman Smith is the person who sealed the deal with the affordable units and the additional 3 assisted living units. Clap it up, everyone. And the MVP is in this very room. The hundreds of people out there who worked tirelessly for this landmark achievement. Clap it up, everyone. Huge job. Mr. Woodbury, you have 30 seconds for comments.
So, thank you very much for inviting us here today. I just want to say we're proud to be part of Lincoln Park, and we're proud to be delivering the first affordable housing units in Lincoln Park, and as I understand, 35 years. So thank you for inviting us.
Thank you so much. And Alderman Smith, we'd love to hear your comments for 1 minute.
Thank you. You know, you talked earlier about putting a referendum on the ballot today, and I first met Kathy Moore and Deidre Gargiano and the Lakeview Action Coalition while they were outside the polling place putting a referendum on the ballot in Lincoln Park about whether we should have more affordable housing. This proves the fact that we're here today putting in place the first affordable housing in over 35 years, proves that the broad-based community organizing model of One Northside really delivers. I'm proud to have been part of the Affordable Housing Coalition before I became alderman, and so proud. This is really one of my most proudest achievements as alderman, is to be able to bring these units so that people of all income levels can continue to live in Lincoln Park.
Let's have a huge hand for Lincoln Park's affordable winning team. Clap it up, everyone. Way to go.
I'm Robert Rodenberg. Last spring, all of my neighbors and I were forced out of the Chateau Hotel in Lakeview, a single-room occupancy SRO hotel that we could afford. I joined about 2,500 other poor people who have been forced out of our chosen homes on the North Side just in the last 3 years. The Millshire Hotel in Logan Square is slated to close at the end of this month, and 70 more people will be displaced. SRO hotel rooms provide long-term housing for over 6,000 elderly people, people with disabilities, veterans, and the working poor across the city. A few developers have targeted occupied SROs, evicting all tenants in order to gut rehab the buildings and increase rents by 60% or more. No, it isn't. The displaced tenants may find a room in a faraway neighborhood, while others couch surf or become homeless. And in at least 2 cases, they die.
Right. Right.
After staying with a friend and living at the Cornerstone Shelter in Uptown, I am fortunate to now living at Buffett Place, the former Diplomat SRO hotel.
All right.
Now owned by Thresholds and Brinshore. This is the result of years of community organizing with the strong support and action from Alderman Tunney. Thank you, Alderman. As a result of my experiences, I am part of a coalition that is about to introduce an ordinance to prevent the displacement of the remaining 6,000 poor people across the city who call SROs their home.
My name is Vivian Zoe. I live in the 46th ward, and as Robert depicted, we are facing a housing crisis. I work at a social service agency, and we saw 1,201 homeless clients last year. The Chicago for All Coalition, headed up by ONE Northside, is taking the proactive step of preserving affordable housing by passing an SRO ordinance. The ordinance helps to prevent homelessness and even more racial and economic segregation in Chicago. It will require SRO owners to get a permit from the city if they want to make any significant structural changes to their building. They will only receive this permit if they maintain the building as affordable housing. So by working closely with the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless and lawyers from the Shriver Center and BPI, we are building citywide power towards our demands for housing justice.
All right. Hi, I'm Reverend Lois McCullen Parr, and I'm one of the pastors at Broadway United Methodist Church. I'm involved in the Chicago for All Coalition because I mourn the loss of the 700 people who were displaced from my community of Lakeview due to SRO closures.
Hello, my name is Elgin Stewart, and I volunteer to help coordinate housing resources for disadvantaged and low-income people. However, I also have been affected by the downturn in the economy and the loss of affordable and SRO housing. I know what it feels like to be homeless. To pass this ordinance, we need aldermanic and mayoral support. Aldermen, please answer yes or no to this three-part question. Will you be a co-sponsor of the ordinance? Will you attend our press conference at the ordinance introduction on May 28th? And will you bring 2 of your colleagues on board as additional co-sponsors?
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Fioretti? Alderman Tunney?
Yes, certainly.
And Alderman Burnett?
Without a doubt.
All right. Thank you, Alderman, for your support of this necessary legislation. We are disappointed that Alderman Osterman didn't make it here today, but we are excited to announce that Alderman Burnett, along with Aldermans Burns, Dowell, and Pawar, have stepped up to be our lead team, and we look forward to working with them and all of you. Alderman Burnett, you have 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Do I get my time back?
Yeah.
All right. I think that SRO housing is something that needs to be either enhanced or replaced. I'm standing with the other aldermen. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that this housing is in place because we don't want people to lose their apartments. SRO housing is the next step from sleeping on someone's couch.
That's right.
So I support it 100%, and we had the power to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Burnett. Alderman Tunney, you were a great partner, as we've heard, on preserving the Diplomat, and we plan to hold you to your commitment to work with us to get some affordable units in the recently closed SRO buildings. Thank you for agreeing to support this SRO preservation ordinance. Now you have 1 minute to address the body about the importance of affordable housing in your ward and on the north side.
Thank you. And I wanted to say a few things. Not only the Diplomat was
exciting to see 48 units, especially with the mental health crisis, that this is really a foremost and most important project for our city. I want to thank the aldermen up here for their support. Also, was not mentioned is the first ever in the Midwest senior lesbian and gay housing, which is almost complete here at Addison. That's exciting. Two other things I want to talk about. I see a number of my friends here from the Crib, which is our housing for our youth over at Addison and Halston. Supporting that with me. And then last but not least, the Broadway Youth Center at the Wellington Avenue Church. Yeah! I remain committed to affordable housing. I've seen the displacement at SRO without creative solutions, so we want to work with our fellow aldermen to make sure that SRO preservation is critical, because I've seen in Lakeview where it's we haven't had the option, so we've got to make it a stronger ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Tunney.
Thank you, Alderman Tunney, and all of our supporters. Our next step for this campaign is to introduce our ordinance at the next City Council meeting, which will take place on May 28th. Please sign up on the Keep Me in Action cards that you will hear about at the end of the meeting. We need you there to fight for a Chicago for all.
Right.
Thank you, housing team. One more.
Hello, my name is Adrian Johnson. Children's Hospital is a big victory, but we can't stop there. We at Mercy Housing are working towards building even more housing for people who have special concerns and need social services on site so they can live their lives to the fullest extent. We at Tenant Leadership have surveyed Uptown's affordable housing. We found that only one wait list was open, and it stayed open for only 3 weeks. If you're lucky enough to get your name on a list, you have to wait up to 2 to 3 years to get an apartment. That ain't right.
That ain't right.
This makes it hard for those of us who don't need supportive housing service anymore to move out and to make those units available to others. So please take action with us to move towards a unified front so all of us will be happy, content, and affordably housed.
All right.
My name is Mary Nelson, and I am a leader with ONE Northside.
Yeah.
I am a resident of Myra's Place, a housing program serving 30 women who are on the CHA waiting list just like me. I am here in solidarity with Lathrop Home residents, allies, and the Logan Square Neighborhood Association, who have been organizing for years to preserve Lathrop homes. They are here standing with us today. Stand up. I live near Lathrop Homes, the 925-unit low-rise public housing development. The CHA has left Lathrop and its residents in limbo for more than 14 years. There are only 150 families there today. It is a ghost town. There are currently over 750 units that are vacant. What's even more shocking is that the CHA receives $7 million for every year for the units that nobody is living in them. As a taxpayer and as someone who was formerly homeless, this disgusts me.
Yeah.
But we are not going to keep quiet. We are part of a coalition, the Chicago Housing Initiative. We need our elected officials to hold the CHA accountable. We need everyone here to do the same. If you want to get involved, please check the affordable housing box on the orange sheet. This is it, everybody, the Keep Me in Action sheet. And thank you.
right, thank you, housing team, for all that great work. We want to also now welcome, it's Carlos Cardenas, ONE Northside Board President, Vice President, with a special guest to introduce.
Hello, my name is Carlos Cardenas, and I am the Vice President of ONE Northside. Many of you have heard my story. I lost my foot in 2008 due to undiagnosed diabetes. I am uninsured and low income. I should have gotten charity care, which is free or reduced price care from the nonprofit hospital I went to. Instead, I got a $50,000 bill. Through organizing, I learned I was not alone. In 2012, we joined with the partners in the Fair Care Coalition and passed a bill that guarantees low-income, uninsured Illinoisans access to free care at any hospital in Illinois. There are more details about the law in your program book. Our state legislators here today were strong allies in this campaign. Now I am proud to thank and introduce Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan, who played a key role in making sure this law was as strong as possible. Attorney General, you have 2 minutes to address the Assembly.
Thank you very much, Carlos, and good afternoon. I really appreciate being invited here today, and I am pleased to see so many representatives of so many great organizations committed to coming together to pursue social and economic justice. Because throughout history, justice has only been achieved through the active engagement, participation, and sacrifice of many people. Serving as your Attorney General, every day I see injustice. Scammers and even legitimate businesses are intent on taking people's hard-earned money and not providing them services. So every day I have worked to hold these individuals and companies accountable, to bring justice to our families and our communities that are harmed by fraud. I am probably proudest of the leadership I have taken to bring homeowners here in the state of Illinois over $2.4 billion worth of relief. They've suffered from predatory and discriminatory lending and fraudulent foreclosure practices. But I realize that even for all of the investigations we've pursued, all of the lawsuits we've brought, and all of the relief that we've received, too many people remain financially insecure, whether it's because of mortgage fraud, overwhelming student loan debt, payday lenders, or even payroll cards. Financial viability for most people is threatened every day. So I wanted to be here to say thank you to ONE Northside. Thank you for your commitment to coming together and demand accountability, change, and justice. I am proud to support you and your efforts. Thank you very much.
I'm Alan Wasilowski, a St. Clement Catholic Church parishioner and a member of ONE Northside's Economic Justice Task Force. Our common commitment to social justice requires an individual dedication of time, talent, and treasure to achieve our collective vision of a just society. Each one of us must answer this call according to our particular circumstances. Today, we see the fruits of individual contributions of time and talent over the many months leading up to this inaugural convention. Tomorrow's success, however, can only be assured if we support this vision with our treasure. I feel so fortunate that I can support ONE Northside with my time, talent, and treasure because it is my best opportunity to place my values into action, working for equal opportunity for all to receive a quality education, supportive services meeting individual needs, affordable housing in safe communities, a living wage and a good job, and a secure retirement. Our floor team now will pass baskets to receive our financial contribution. Please take out your wallets now and give what you can to support One Northside. By your presence here today, you show that you care about what you are hearing. Now is the time to support this organization financially. Thank you for your generosity as we strive ahead as One Northside. Welcome the drummers from Family Matters as we take up this contribution.
I got a minute and a half now. So, want to share just a little bit of a metaphor which I think is very apt to what we're doing here. Each of us has our own rhythms. He has a rhythm. He has a rhythm. He has a rhythm. What brings us all together so it's just not chaos is we have to be on the one. So in drumming, we call the ones where the rhythms come together. That's where we can have integrity in our diversity, at the same time be unified in our purposes, whether it's for housing or mental health. It's very important. So we're going to play those rhythms about 30 seconds, and you're going to hear the one, and that's our metaphor.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Dale. I'm the senior minister at Wellington Avenue, United Church of Christ. Yeah, and we are proud to be with One Northside in the hard-won struggle of getting our special use permit for our mission partner, the Broadway Youth Center. All right. BYC is an essential youth service in our Lakeview community, and we want to thank Alderman Tunney, who was a great ally in us achieving the special use permit. Thank you very much, Alderman Tunney. The Broadway Youth Center has prepared this thank you video to One Northside for your effort to make this special youth permit a reality.
And check out
I'm Jaleel Cameron Carter. I'm a peer advocate here at the BYC. I come to the Broadway Youth Center because it's meeting grounds for, me and my peers, LGBT and straight. It's an open space where we can, practice our dance move, our voguing. We can sing whether or not we can sing or we can't sing, we play games, we learn about, things that keep us safe, gives us resources. But we're also here to help others, help the youth in the community. And also, like me being a peer advocate here, I think with me personally, it's made me become a more sensitive person to the people around me. There are a lot of churches in the community and like other agencies that do support us. And within the programs that they do, even letting us use their space, them inviting us to their events that they throw.
My name is Kylan Hooks. I'm the drop-in manager here at Broadway Youth Center. And what I want to say is thank you for all of your continued support. I want to thank those folks who came out and supported us when we were going through the process for the special use permit. I want to thank all of you who wrote letters during that process. And absolutely thank you to the Alderman's office. Thank you for your support. We look forward to your continued support as we head into the spring and summer seasons and making this a wonderful, wonderful spot for young folks to be and enjoy services.
And so, want to invite you to stay involved with the Youth Task Force, being concerned and involved for standing with the youth in our community. So if you'll take out the yellow Keep Me in Action form and check the youth issues box at the end of our time together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's welcome our education team up to the podium. Come on up. And you were part of that victory at Broadway Youth Center because you're part of ONE Northside. Come on. Come on up.
Poso Mamanu Wayak. Hello, everyone. My name is Felicia Peters. I am a nominee in Santo Domingo Pueblo, and I am a proud member of the Grow Your Own Teachers training program. At ONE Northside, we believe that quality public education is a right for all students, regardless of their neighborhood, their socioeconomic status, or cultural background. As a graduate of the Chicago public school system and a Native American woman, I know firsthand the difficulties minority students face in the classroom when we don't see our culture represented or acknowledged, when we see our histories and cultural beliefs ignored. As a student, not having teachers that looked like me or shared my culture had a strong influence in my life. And now as a staff member at the American Indian Center of Chicago, I see this repeating in our Native youth today. I see our children feeling ostracized and different, unable to identify with their teachers. As a teacher, I want to inspire students to think critically about their culture and be proud and play an active role in their communities. Behind me are more faces of the Grow Your Own Teachers program. And without Grow Your Own Teacher program, we wouldn't be able to accomplish our goals and our dreams of becoming formal teachers. The supports we receive, despite the many obstacles we face as non-traditional students, makes this program unique and necessary in our communities. I want to thank the following elected officials for their support of Grow Your Own Teachers program. Specifically, our Bill HB 3948 to expand our criteria to graduate more students. Representative Sarah Feigenholtz, Representative Greg Harris, and Representative Ann Williams. It is critically important to continue to invest in teachers of color. Illinois ranks third worst in the country in the number of teachers of color. And Grow Your Own Teachers is the only teacher program that intentionally works in communities to produce teachers that understand the issues their students face. We will be asking for support for full funding later in the program. Now we have a question for President Cullerton and Governor Quinn. President Cullerton, will you support HB 3948 when it comes to the Senate?
Yes.
Governor Quinn, will you sign HB 3948 when it comes to your desk?
The sooner the better. I'll sign it.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Georgi Slavov, and I'm a member of Stone Soup Cooperative in Uptown. I'm originally from Bulgaria, and I moved to the United States 7 years ago looking for the better opportunities for my future. I'm a student at Truman College, and it has given me many experiences that help me to expand my mind. I believe that schools should play an important role providing equal opportunities for all students. This can only happen if schools have the resources they need to thrive. This can only happen if schools do not continue to close in our neighborhoods. And this can only happen if we resist the corporate takeover of our education system. Northside is celebrating victory today. In November, we hosted a public meeting to oppose expansion of a charter school near Sand High School. This expansion will have taken resources away from Sand. The expansion was denied. One Northside will continue to fight for the quality education in Chicago and all the area. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Joyce Corder, and I'm a member of this community and a former student of Truman College. I'm also part of the education team for ONE Northside. I'm here to talk to you about the closing of Stewart School in Uptown. CPS closed that school last summer, along with 49 other schools throughout Chicago. No, it's not. When your neighborhood school shuts down, it disrupts your child's education and the family and the community. That ain't right! ONE Northside education team joined the Alliance throughout the city to oppose these closings. Even though they closed Stewart, our education team came together to develop a community plan survey with questions for the community partners, members, residents, students, youth, and elders of our community, so they would have a voice in the redevelopment of Stewart School. We collected over 800 surveys in the last 6 months, and the community has spoken. They want affordable housing in this school for this location, space for nonprofit and community services, and development that provides good jobs for our residents. The report is available at the convention and on our website for onenorthside.org. CPS has committed to taking the community's proposals into account for the planning of these vacant buildings. And we plan to hold them to that promise. We invited CPS Chief Operations Officer Tom Terrell, the person in charge of selling and closing these schools. He chose not to be here. Right. Stewart School was a community asset for over 100 years for our community and should stay an asset in the future. We don't have Alderman Kapperman here. Join us in the call to action to that alderman to send a message later on in this program.
All right. We want to acknowledge some other allies that we have in our room today. Retired Commissioner Patricia Horton of Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, and also, and Organizing Catholics for Justice. All right. Now we're going to take time to hear what's happening with our violence prevention team. Let's welcome them. They're right behind me here.
Led me to ONE Northside's Violence Prevention Coalition. The VPC exists to address root causes of violence in our Northside communities. After a listening campaign that included over 250 people from 11 member institutions, some of which are in this auditorium right now, we identified the barriers to employment as a root cause of violence. One thing we kept hearing from those who committed acts of violence and have been in the criminal justice system is is that it's nearly impossible to land an interview even after making life changes, even after altering behaviors, and even successfully completing sentences and parole stipulations. And that is because of one loaded question on applications: the felony question. That ain't right. Right. There's been great momentum across the United States in banning the felony question from housing and job applications. To date, over 50 cities, including ours, Chicago, and many states, including Illinois, have removed the question from applications for city and state jobs. There's more. 11 states have gone so far as to ban the box completely from public and private job applications. We want Illinois to be that 12th state. Nearly 4 million people in Illinois have a criminal background. That's 40% of the adult population in Illinois. So let that sink in. 4 million people in Illinois have a difficult time finding employment. Damn straight, that ain't right. So what are we gonna do? We're working on removing the felony question. Removing the felony question will impact 4 million people, their families, and their communities. That's 4 million people who would have means for stability and alternatives to violent choices and would be able to provide for their families and children. This is parents going to their kids' basketball and baseball games rather than kids going to see their parents locked up. It is time to ban the box here in Illinois. It would open the door to increased opportunities. We're banning the box in Illinois because it would open the door to increase opportunities for people like my friend Arnold. So let's hear from Arnold himself.
Thank you, Anna. It is an honor for me to be here expressing the importance of banning the felony question on job applications. For the past 3 decades, I've been hindered by my criminal past, by being denied the opportunity to be gainfully employed, and that ain't right. My desire for life never included prison. I paid my debt to society, yet I'm still being judged by a question that asks, have I ever been convicted of a felony? I work for $15 a month in prison. So I'm here today to let you know I embrace the opportunity to become a positive, productive, tax-paying citizen at a living wage. I refuse to be stagnated by words on an application anymore. We are, as a people, entitled to the same rights afforded to every citizen in the United States and equal protection under the law. I've been working with ONE Northside Violence Prevention Coalition in a quest to make job opportunities equal for all. In our effort to get ban the box passed, we targeted corporations who would support our work. One such corporation we met with was Jewel Osco. It is an honor for me to announce that Jewel Osco has agreed to remove the felony question. They were unable to have a representative here today. However, they did provide a statement which is being displayed on the projectors. In closing, I would like to acknowledge that while this is a monumental victory, we should not lose sight that if just one of us does not have equal opportunities, it is an injustice to us all. When I say one, you say Northside. One? One? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Hello, my name is Pastor Robert Rand. I'm the senior pastor at New Life Covenant North, a church in Rogers Park. Passing statewide legislation to ban the box in Illinois will open up possibilities closed to returning citizens right now, giving them hope, reducing recidivism, and in lieu of all of the violence on the streets that is happening here in Chicago, we need to remember nothing will stop a bullet better than a job. We would like to thank State Representatives Feigenholtz, Harris, and Williams, who voted yes to House Bill 5701 that will ban the box on job applications in Illinois. Now, Senate President Cullerton, will you vote yes and support House Bill 5701 in the Senate? Please respond, yes or no.
Yes.
Governor Quinn, will you support this bill into law when it comes to your desk? Please respond, yes or no.
Yes, I signed the legislation dealing with public employment, ban the box, and we look forward to getting the bill to ban the box for private employment.
All right, now let's welcome our economic justice team. All right.
I'm a case manager at the Lincoln Park Community Shelter, an Edgewater resident, and a member of Ebenezer Lutheran Church. I'm a grassroots ambassador for our retirement security work. One Northside believes that all people should be able to live with dignity, and that should not stop when you reach retirement. There's a lot of rhetoric that says Social Security contributes to our national debt and that we need to reform entitlement programs, which is really just code language for dismantling Social Security. They want to undermine our country's greatest anti-poverty initiative, and that ain't right. Let's be clear about one thing. Social Security does not contribute 1 penny to the national debt. Social Security is critically important. These days, it's hard to come by a job that will offer you a pension or 401k. With low-paying jobs and long-term unemployment, it's meant most of us have little to no savings. I've been paying into Social Security since I was 16. I love the work I do, but in the social work field, you don't do it for the money. So Social Security will be an important part of my retirement security. One Northside and the Jane Addams Senior Caucus, along with our partners from around the country, have successfully fought against cuts to Social Security. We're tired of being on the defensive. We believe that now is the time to expand and strengthen Social Security.
I am Anne Marie Cunningham. I am a leader in the Jane Addams Senior Caucus. Along with our partners around the country, we have adopted a proactive agenda to expand and strengthen Social Security. The details of our plan are in your program book. The Strengthening Social Security Act of 2013, which is a bill in Congress, addresses half of our proactive agenda. Congressman Davis, Congresswoman Chakowski, and Congressman Quigley all signed on as co-sponsors because we asked them. Let's thank them. Now I want to address an issue that is important to women especially. Raise your hand if you have taken time out of the workforce to care for a loved one, or if you've benefited from a family member taking time out of the workforce to care for you. Please raise your hand. Let's thank our caregivers. A new bill will be introduced this month to make sure people who care for their loved ones are not punished with lower benefits in retirement. It is called the Caregiver Credit Act. Congresswoman Chakowski already agreed to support this bill. Congressman Davis, will you support and help lead the effort to get a caregiver credit for Social Security? Yes or no?
Yes.
You now have 1 minute to address the Assembly.
Well, thank you very much, and let me just thank all of you who have become a part of ONE Northside. And I also want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to sit on the same stage at the same time with 3 individuals that I just love as elected officials: Greg Harris, John Cullerton, and the governor of the state of Illinois, Pat Quinn.
Thank you, Congressman. My name is Eugene Lim. I'm from A Church for Me, ONE Northside. ONE Northside believes we're in a crisis, a revenue crisis. With our national allies, we fight to raise revenue to invest in a people-first economy, in public education, jobs, healthcare, and infrastructure. That's why we organized for a Robin Hood tax. It's a tiny tax on Wall Street that could raise $350 billion a year. It generates public money for the private finance sector, and we are committed over the long haul to cultivating legislative champions for progressive revenue measures. We met with Congresswoman Chakowski for over a year about this bill. She couldn't join us today, but when we met with her, she told us, "You moved me. You got me here." She is now the Robin Hood Tax's first co-sponsor from Illinois. And since she signed on, the bill got 6 new co-sponsors. Momentum is building, and we won't stop until our whole congressional delegation supports the Robin Hood tax.
Thanks, Eugene. I'm Sue Grease. I work for Deborah's Place, and I live and vote in Lakeview. If you ask educators and human service providers if Illinois has a spending crisis, they may tell you that we rank near the bottom nationally in funding for their programs. It's true. That ain't right. In 2010, even more cuts to state funding were hurting our member organizations and our community. We organized our membership to support a temporary increase to Illinois individual and corporate income tax rates, and our economic justice work began. If the tax increase expires as planned at the end of the year, we face cuts too devastating to imagine. A budget hole of over $2 billion in the first year alone. It could mean the end of public safety, public education, and human services as we know them, and we cannot let this happen. ONE Northside stands with the governor as he calls for maintaining tax rates at their current levels. We will continue to pay our fair share, but corporations need to pay their fair share. Only 8% of state revenue comes from corporate income taxes. And 2/3 of Illinois corporations doing business here pay no Illinois corporate income tax whatsoever, not 1 penny. With our Fair Economy Illinois partners, we support House Bill 390, which would close 3 corporate tax loopholes and generate $500 million every year in new public money. But we need long-term structural reform, too. We need a strong transparency bill that requires publicly traded corporations doing business in Illinois to disclose what they pay in taxes to Illinois and to disclose what tax breaks or loopholes figured into the calculation. We cannot have long-term tax and revenue reform without this crucial information. It's time for tax reform. Our communities cannot wait.
My name is D'Angelo Boylan, and I'm an organizer with Voice of the People. We have a few questions for our elected officials here today. For Representative Harris and Senate President Cullerton, will you advocate for and vote yes on a revenue package that maintains current income tax levels? Yes or no?
Representative Harris?
Yes.
President Cullerton?
I will sponsor it and vote yes.
President Cullerton was a strong champion for our corporate tax transparency bill that he passed through the Senate in 2012. And we just learned 2 days ago, this past Friday, that Representative Kelly Cassidy has also added her name to the bill, which makes every Illinois representative with their name on the bill. But we've proven that we're willing to pay our fair share. So we need corporations to pay their fair share too.
That's right.
Will you advocate to make sure that the revenue package includes 2 key structural reforms: corporate tax transparency and the closure of 3 corporate tax loopholes? Yes or no?
Representative Harris?
Yes, I will.
President Cullerton?
Absolutely.
We've discussed our solutions for the current revenue crisis. Will you advocate for a people-first budget with full funding for public education, human services, mental health services, and key programs such as Grow Your Own Teachers and Ceasefire? Yes or no?
Representative Harris?
Yes, I will.
President Cullerton?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Representative Harris, you will now have 1 minute to address the Assembly.
Thank you.
Well, can I stand up? All right. So I want to thank everyone who's here, and I want to thank Governor Quinn and Senate President Cullerton for standing up to bring the revenue that this state needs. Whether your concern is adequate money for education, for public safety, for taking care of our most vulnerable, whether they are disabled, whether they suffer from mental health issues, whether they suffer from HIV and AIDS, this all takes revenue, and every person in this state needs to pay their fair share, and thank you for supporting that concept, ONE.
Thank you, Representative Harris. President Cullerton, you will now have 2 minutes to address the Assembly.
I won't take 2 minutes. With the income tax
increase scheduled to sunset, we are at a crossroads in Illinois. In the coming weeks, we have been asked to decide the future course of our state. Our budget decisions could open doors for future generations or stifle economic opportunities. We have to work together and put the best interests of the state ahead of politics. When we debate competing proposals, we must remember the reason why we have corporations and individuals pay taxes in the first place. Tax revenue allows us to invest in the common good so that everyone from small business owners to workers, from farmers to school teachers, and from students to young professionals are all equipped to succeed. These investments in our workforce and in our infrastructure make Illinois an attractive state in which to do business, but we all know they ain't free. And that's not right. It's important and critically important that everyone pays their fair share. That's why I passed, with your help, the corporate tax disclosure bill through the Senate in 2012. It's over in the House, and they ought to pass it. All we're doing is telling those publicly traded companies, just tell us how much you pay in taxes, and more importantly, how much you don't pay in taxes. I'm looking forward to all your help to advance that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, President Cullerton. Governor Quinn, thank you for being with us today. And thank you for your public leadership to maintain current income tax rates. We support this as well as the initiative to close 3 corporate tax loopholes. Will you use the power of your office to include this loophole closure bill in any final revenue package?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. The energy in this house of worship is really what democracy is all about. I did propose a budget. We've got to use the power of democracy. This month, this is a turning point for Illinois. We heard earlier today the importance of investing in education at Truman Community College, our K to 12. We heard how important it is to have decent health care for everyone.
With all due respect,
making
Governor.
sure, I'm the one who came up with the 3 loopholes to close. Yes, we want to close the loopholes. We want to pass the budget. We've got to do it this month.
Please, yes or no? Not yet, later on.
Oh, okay.
Yes or
All
no?
right. The answer is yes.
As we said earlier, we need long-term revenue reform, and we think corporate tax transparency is a critical first step. Do you support corporate tax transparency, yes or no?
The answer is yes. Thank you, Greg Harris, and thank you, John Cullerton, for coming up with the idea.
Governor, will you advocate for corporate tax transparency to be part of any revenue package, yes or no?
Well, the answer is yes. We got to do that this month.
And finally, Governor Quinn, will you advocate for a people-first budget with full funding for public education, human services, mental health services, and key programs such as Grow Your Own and Ceasefire, yes or no?
All of those are in the budget, but don't forget veterans coming home. We got to invest, make sure we take good care of those who bear the battle.
I'm sorry, Governor, is that a yes or no?
It's a yes with more to come.
Thank you. You will now have 3 minutes to address the assembly.
Well, as I already have said, it's an honor to be here. This is what democracy is about. People united cannot be defeated. and we really do have to put together a grassroots measure, just like here, all over Illinois, this whole month. We've got to make sure that the budget that is passed is one that reflects the values of the people of Illinois, investing in the important things of life. We who are adults, we have a duty to our kids, to leave our kids better with the opportunity to have a good education, to have decent health care. We just got the numbers this week. 504,000 people in Illinois have health care coverage thanks to the Affordable Care Act that we've had. That's what ONE, that's what everyone working together can do. And I think it's so important that we've really focused today on the key issues. We've got to have proper investment in spending on things like schools, healthcare, human services, helping our veterans, public safety, and we also have to have a fair revenue structure. And that's really what the fight is all about this whole month. We got to fight hard for everyday people who live from paycheck to paycheck, who are raising kids. We are custodians of those children's future. I know as long as we got you guys on our side, we can't lose. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor Quinn, for your strong and consistent stance on the revenue necessary for a people's first budget. Many of us in the room are also concerned about the state of our environment and the potential devastation of fracking. We appreciate the commitment you made to Fair Economy, Illinois to not allow any fracking permits to be issued until the rules are strengthened. We will continue to work with you and our allies on these important justice issues. Thank you.
Thanks, D'Angelo. Friends, our demand is clear: a budget that reflects our values and not the special interests of those with the deepest pockets. With full and secure funding for ceasefire, so parents know that interrupters are on the ground when gang tensions are high in the park where their kids play. A budget that supports good teachers who are rising up from our communities and public schools with the resources they need to build up the next generation. And where our neighbors who are most in need, those struggling with mental illness or addiction, or experiencing the trauma of homelessness, our neighbors who are hungry or sick don't have to battle every year for what's left over. It's just that important. But the conversation is so much bigger. It's about safe, affordable housing for everyone, decent jobs that let you feed your families, and strong programs that enable our seniors to retire with dignity. Friends, if you're here today, you've already joined that conversation, and I know that you'll continue to join us in Springfield, in legislators' offices across the state, at City Hall, at Tax Dodgers headquarters, in Washington, D.C., and in the streets when we need to be. We are ONE Northside, joining our partners across the city, the state, and the country, taking back the power of government into our communities, defining and creating an economy that works for everyone and where everyone contributes their fair share to our common good, and demanding solutions that put people first. You know, friends, it's easy to be cynical, right? To whine and complain and say that things will never change, then close the door and leave it to someone else. but we won't. We don't. We never have, and we never will. You could be anywhere this chilly but beautiful spring afternoon, but you're not. You're here with your One Northside friends and allies, building our power together and demanding justice as one.
Now, it's a tradition at the end of the convention that we all take one action step together to let someone who's not here know just how much we miss them. Think we all know who's not here today? Today we do not have my alderman, 46th Ward Alderman James Kappelman, with us. It ain't right. It ain't right. We're in the 46th Ward right now. We're eager to work with him on many important issues. So we're gonna have a video. We're gonna send him a video of us just so he can see the power in this room right now. Pastor Monty, will you take this video? Yes or no?
Yes, I will.
All right.
All right.
Everyone on the screens above me is our message to Alderman Kappelman. Please read it with me. Alderman Kappelman, stand with One Northside on SR Road and Stewart School. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. This time we're gonna do it loud, proud, and together, okay? 1, 2, 3. Alderman Kappelman, stand with One Northside on SR Road and Stewart School. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. That's a message that will translate. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your generosity. I also want you to pull out these little cards that you've been reminded of. These are cards to keep me in action. You can indicate what it is that you're interested in being involved in. You know, it's been pointed out, these windows are a reminder of our democratic life. And it reminds us that our democracy is only as strong as the people who participate. That's you. And that's why we're here today. That's why we're One Northside. That's why we're standing together for action and justice. And we want to keep you in the game. So again, use these cards, hand them in as you head out the door. Thank you again. We are adjourned.